From the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery in Nashville, Tennessee, it's Gardening Inside Out, a podcast with highlights from our Saturday morning live show, answering all your gardening questions, giving you plant advice for any space in your life. Let's start the show.
Hey, y'all, it's Caroline Gant.
Hey, y'all, Austin Lowen.
And Tyler Blankenship.
And hey, there's some cloud cover today. That
Wow.
is welcomed.
That is welcomed.
It has been brutal in Middle Tennessee.
It has, and where we are, we haven't gotten any rain. We got
Not
like
so
a
much.
sprinkling yesterday, and it started raining at my house, and I was like, oh, yay, and then it stopped.
Yep.
3 minutes.
It's been kind of weird. It's been almost like Florida weather a little bit. It's like, it's very, very hot and muggy all the time, and then just a big thunderstorm will happen, and then it goes away.
Except
but it
not where we
depends.
are.
If you, just like you said, like sometimes it'll hit you, sometimes it won't. Here at the nursery, it never did hit yesterday.
No, well, a little bit.
A little bit.
There's a little bit of water, but not. Our local weather service, Nashville Severe Weather, is kind of a community effort. They call that winning the watery.
Oh, good
that's
one.
punny.
Mm-hmm.
I want to win that at my house
Yes.
Yeah.
so I can stop watering everything.
Mhm.
And I've even gotten a couple downpours at my place, but when you scratch the surface of the soil, it's still pretty dry
Yeah.
underneath. It's only gets like the top like half inch.
Yeah, it really
soil.
is. I mean, I've got sun pations in the yard, and they are dramatic little creatures, let's be honest. But this has been the first time I've had to water them this whole spring, really. This spring here in Middle Tennessee, we've been wet this spring, like for sure. But the water kind of turned off lately, and I had to water those screaming sun pations.
And
the
you were
other day.
highly annoyed.
I was splashing them hard with water. I didn't even care.
Didn't even care. I had to
No.
water my macrophylla hydrangeas yesterday.
I believe
That
that.
have been in the ground for well over a year. Usually I don't water my stuff that's been in the ground that long, but they were looking real sad, and it was time.
Yeah, it's been dry.
And I thought, you know what? If I water these, it's going to rain, and I won't have to water anything else. So I didn't, and then it didn't rain.
Yeah, it happens. You know what's out as well right now? Tyler, what were you going to say? You had something on the brain.
I've been using my water meter just because I've been
Look at
so
you go.
unsure about things,
Yeah.
about how much something is watered and how much water it's losing. But yeah, I've been shoving that thing in there, and I found out that some things are actually pretty good. They're actually wet and like too wet.
Yeah. Where'd you meet her?
In my backyard.
There's another pun.
Yeah,
That was great.
That's
That was
right.
great. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Better in my greenhouse. So my greenhouse, obviously, I have a shade cloth in there, and that keeps water from evaporating too quickly. But
That's good.
it does heat up in there, sometimes to 105 degrees.
Ooh, that's like the
Even
greenhouse
with-
here.
A shade cloth
Yeah.
and the fan running. So I got to be careful about that. I mean, I'm still getting fruiting from my squash, which is insane.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's
Yeah.
a good point, though. Proper ventilation for a greenhouse is crucial.
Yeah.
Greenhouses get hot.
They will
Extremely
roast
hot.
stuff. It's basically like putting your plants in your car with the windows up, parking it on the hot asphalt in the sun, and leaving them. Yeah.
That's right.
If you don't
Shade-
have shade cloth and, ventilation.
Up in
then-
your world, in the houseplant world, you've got like an area that's double shade cloth.
Yeah, I do.
Down the Fern Aisle, down
Down the
Fern
Fern Aisle.
Gully.
Fern
Yeah.
Gully. And if
Fern-
the fans are not working, even with the shade cloth, I feel like I'm going to die in there.
Yeah.
It's no joke.
It's wild.
It's weird though because there's heat, right? But there's not that much sunlight. You're literally cutting the amount of sunlight that the plant is receiving. So it's not what?
Nothing. You said sunright.
Oh man,
Sunright? Sunsprite?
sun wrong
Ah.
in the greenhouse.
Sun wrong. Very wrong.
That's basically what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
it does. You know what? I think I've told you, but I haven't told you what I found all over my squash plants, covered in squash bugs, like all generations. I've been smashing them like crazy, and I feel so bad every time I do it. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Don't be sorry for them. They're fine.
There's so many,
they
and
deserve
just
to
so many eggs on the underside of the leaf. Like overnight, I walked out there and I thought I had gotten them all, and I was like, "What have you guys been doing? You were partying all night long, laying eggs everywhere."
Yeah.
Speaking of overnight,
Sarah's been getting them on our squash too. I'm really grateful for her efforts.
Send her to my house. Come on,
send her to
Sarah.
my house too.
Gladly.
I mean, squash bugs are everywhere. And you know what's even worse? And this happened to me the other day,
Oh, no.
overnight.
Uh-oh.
Literally overnight. And this is, squash bugs are horrible. Don't get me wrong. I
It's a
hate
Japanese
those things. No. I came home from work the other day and there was one squash out of, what do I have? I don't know, 20 something that was literally dead. Like it was wilted down to the earth, deader than a doornail. And I knew what it was, and I hated to go out there and see it. But it is the dreaded squash vine borers.
Oh,
No joke. They
Yeah.
are a killer of squash. Like
Those are
squash
bad.
bugs will definitely wreck leaves. They'll wreck fruit. They're annoying. We hate them. But it doesn't necessarily just kill the plant right off the rip. I came out the other day, I mean, just dead. I snatched it up, threw it in the woods, moved on.
Back around to throwing it in the woods.
Yep. We talked about that last week on
That
the
was
show.
a big theme last week.
Yeah, it was.
In some ways, that's like that was a bait plant, right? So you kind of threw out the pest that got on the plant.
Yeah, it
Do you
came
think
from
they'll
here.
come back
It
from
was
the
a Bates
woods?
plant. Huh?
Do you think they'll?
See? Another little pun for you, Tyler.
I picked up on that, but I was just
Yeah.
like, really? Or,
I know, sorry.
Do you think it'll
but
come
no,
back
you're
from
totally
the woods
right.
and find your plant?
I hope not. I'm
It's
hoping
going to
that
emerge from the woods. There's no squash in there.
Well, I threw the squash in there with it so they can still just eat on that one.
Yeah, but it's going to be dead because you pulled it out of the ground. They're going to be like, I want that delicious, plump, alive squash.
Nope, I'm not. I walked it to the far end of the
I
woods.
can't believe you didn't burn it in the woods. I
should've.
Just burn your woods down.
No.
Oh, then you won't have anywhere to throw stuff.
You ain't burn the woods down. What's
Don't.
wrong with you?
Listeners, never burn your woods down.
My father-in-law almost did that once. Fire
really?
department got involved. It was a whole thing. He said he was as scared as he's ever been in his whole entire life.
How did he almost burn the woods down?
He got some leaves. They started drifting. It was windy. He didn't. It got bad.
Listen, I almost burned my house down once doing that.
Yeah.
So I get it.
It happens.
I turned my back, kind of forgot I had a fire going.
Yeah.
Then I looked out of my kitchen window and the wind had blown the fire out of my fire pit. And we had deconstructed part of our deck and it was like really old, very dry wood. And I mean, it was inches away from that dry wood pile, which was right next to the house. And I ran out there and I was a hero that day.
You were a
That
firefighter.
Mariah Carey song played. Yes, I was a firefighter that day.
That Mariah Carey song just played in the background.
Slow motion, I was spraying that fire.
Nice.
It was amazing.
I mean, have you even grown up in the South if you haven't set something on fire? Like my parents set my pasture next to my house on fire when I was growing up, and I just watched it. They had big pieces of plywood, like trying to stamp out the fire, and I was just like,
There it goes.
"Yeah, I've never seen this before."
Yep.
You just let it burn.
My mom and her
There's a
siblings
country
burned a
song.
house down when they were kids. So, yeah. And that was deep South right there.
That's right.
Playing with
fires.
matches.
That's right.
You know what I want to talk
Let's
about for
talk
a second?
about plants.
I want to talk about a theory I've got.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about this for the past like 2 weeks, okay?
Why are you
So,
holding out on us?
I just didn't come up the past couple weeks, okay? But look, I've got a panicle hydrangea, okay? It's called Quickfire, all right? And it's beautiful. It's lovely. It's tree form. I prune it every year. It's starting to transition from that white to its pink stage right now, which is phenomenal. But that plant just attracts so many pollinators, first off, but an extreme amount of flies. And it's right at my front porch where I sit down on the porch and think
Nice.
every night. So them flies are buzzing. It's honestly really annoying. My wife can't even go up to the hydrangea tree and look at it because she gets so creeped out by like multiple insects all in the same spot.
Really?
Y'all, yes, they literally hum atop of this hydrangea. It is intense. If you go over to it, I almost did like a sound audio, what do you call it? Audio video.
Recording?
I did a recording. Thanks, Tyler.
Audio.
An audio
An
video.
audio video for you guys.
I almost did that just so I could lean my phone in so y'all could hear the buzz of the flies. It was crazy.
Why didn't you do it?
I don't know. I should have done that.
Our listeners are probably like, why?
I'll do it
Do
tonight.
it tonight when you go home.
But this is my theory, okay? I think that without the flies from their mouth parts sucking on some of the flowers, if we didn't have that, then this white hydrangea would never go pink. Prove me wrong, people. Comment, share, all this
Let us
stuff.
know.
Send us a voicemail.
I think Tyler's Googling. I just saw a flash of light
Tyler,
in his
don't be-
glasses.
Don't be Googling stuff. I've actually tried to look this up. I've never found anything on, and this is literally just a personal theory for me. But I feel like if you put a tree form, not even tree form, a shrub form, quickfire hydrangea in a sterile lab somewhere where there was no insect activity ever, would the plant ever turn pink? I'm saying no.
You've got to create a sterile lab at your home.
You think it's tissue damage from the
Yes.
pollinator
That's
activity?
exactly what I think's happening.
That's interesting.
I know, because it's what happens is whenever the insect leaves its little wound, from what I can see, it's like you give it a day or two and that wound bleeds first. It's the first thing to bleed pink.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that just injury? And it's like almost like it's bleeding a little. It's my theory.
I like it.
I'm throwing it out there, man.
You are. Listeners, let us know what you think.
I need a scientist to let me borrow his lab because I can't just create a sterile lab.
If there's a scientist out here listening that's close to us, or maybe they could just do it for us, for Austin.
I'll even
reach
buy
out
the
to
plant.
us.
I'm calling all scientists.
Calling all scientists. And listeners, pull your car over right now or stop gardening for a minute and hit your fan mail button that you see in your app and send us some fan mail and tell us what you think about this.
Okay.
We'd like to know.
I'd love to know. I'd love to know what y'all think. If y'all grow these, y'all know what I'm talking about.
I put out a request for voice messages and we got 0.
Great.
So we're off to a great start.
I remember being like, that's interesting.
I tried.
Okay.
It's okay. You guys don't want to say anything. It's fine.
It's fine.
We'll keep
Well,
talking.
we'll see if the fan mail works. I want to know what people think about this.
I do too. It's very interesting.
I'm interested to see. Yeah, my hydrangeas are all gorgeous right now.
How's your? Don't you have a tree form limelight, right? Or do you not have limelight? I always
no,
think
I have
you
a
do.
ton of limelight, but not tree form.
Not tree form.
They're huge though. They're the ones that I planted in front of my house in 2017 when I bought it, and in 2020 I decided to transplant them.
That's right.
And
That's right.
they're chonky. Like I cut them way back every year, and they, right now I think one of them's 8 foot tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it. And it's been a good year for non-floppage, which is nice. We
It
don't
has.
want that. Limelight's the worst of all of them, if you ask me, about flopping. Well, this year we haven't had that horrible windy rainstorm, I guess, that's hit them. So most of them are still up and looking good.
Yeah, and then I have 2 tree form. One is that phantom something.
Oh, yeah, phantom.
The other one is a mystery. It's the first year it's blooming, so we'll see what it is, if I can even figure it out. But those look great. Yeah.
Yeah. Is your phantom in full bloom too?
It is just about. It's
Okay.
starting to bloom. It's still kind of green
Yeah.
in its blooms. It hasn't turned white yet.
Well, here, start looking for them flies I was telling you about, because that one attracts a lot of flies
When
too.
I get home, I will check it out
Nice.
and see.
and you're sure there's nothing dead behind it or like nearby?
What?
Oh, you mean why the fly activity? No, there's no rotting flesh anywhere.
Well, you've
It's
had that
literally-
going on for years.
Oh,
Like,
it happens every year. Yeah, I'm just being dramatic about it this year. But yeah, it happens every single year.
I had one bizarre year, y'all, where flies covered my entire blackberry bush.
Yeah, flies love blackberries.
It was insane, but I had never had that before or since. It was like one year where it was nuts, and then I realized that a bird had perished, and simply perished at my neighbor's house,
Back
like
around to
up,
birds.
up near their attic, just a little bit. And I think that the flies from that then flocked over to my blackberry.
Well, that's very
they
interesting.
loved your blackberries. I went blackberry picking on Sunday.
Did you?
Went back to my little, I say little, but my
Yeah.
huge blackberry patch and picked a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
They're small this
Nice.
year, I think because of the rain,
That's a
like lately.
very interesting point, because I've noticed that as well. My kids picked 1,000 of them the other day, and you're
Mm-hmm.
right. No really large berries.
No,
Just
and
a
a
million
lot of times
of them.
they're
though.
like big. There are a few big, like juicy ones, but a lot of them were like small, juicy ones.
Well, I think
like
maybe
miniatures.
their pollination just was so good this year that they had so many fruit that those fruit, a lot of times when you have so many of them, they never get as big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. That's been a great blackberry year.
When I was telling y'all my blackberry facts a while ago, I forgot to mention that you want the berries, whoever's out there looking for them, to tell for ripeness to go a little bit dull. And that means that they have sweetened up more. Even though they turn black, they might not entirely be ripe.
I just squish them a little bit.
Yeah, the squishiness also is a huge factor. Squishy and dull.
Nice.
And I mean, usually, birds might get to them before then, but it's a good way to tell, because sometimes you see this nice, shiny, juicy looking blackberry, you pop it in your mouth and it's so tart.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I'm disappointed.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah,
That's true.
it does happen.
It does.
And it's sad. But you know what's not sad?
What?
The broadcast from this past Saturday.
It was a good broadcast.
It was jovial.
It was. Is that
was
where you
good.
talked a lot about throwing stuff into the woods? Or was that the week before?
Yeah, that was part of it. Remember, you spilled my coffee on the way in, and that was a big dramatic
Oh.
scene.
Let's
It was
back
kinda
that
your
up
fault.
a little bit. I did not spill your coffee.
That's true. You didn't spill my coffee.
You spilled your coffee.
It was kind of your fault this coffee got spilled, though. Don't look at me like that. You went through the wrong door. Y'all
I
you'll
went
hear
through the
all
wrong
about
door
it.
because the irrigation was on, and I didn't want to go on camera soaking wet.
Okay. I get it, but at the end of the day,
Maybe
the
you
coffee
should
got
know
spilled.
how to control your feet, mister.
Y'all, you
kidding.
don't know where we're at, but we are in a small, very tight space, and it is Tyler. First off, Tyler built this table that we're sitting at, and
It's
it is a
amazing.
phenomenal table.
My fault.
I'm not
because I
going there.
built
It's
it.
not
No,
your
you
fault.
are.
I'm not going
yes,
there.
you are.
No, he's talking about how good it is.
I love this table more than anything. He put a ton of effort into it, and it's a fantastic little semicircle table. It's great. But I'll say the space we have is somewhat small, so getting in and out of this place can be tricky. You got to get skinny. You know what I'm saying? And that day I didn't get
Listening to
skinny
Austin
enough.
get out, he's always like,
I know I am. I should give him I should try to get up right now and show you.
Do it.
Make the noises. No, I don't think y'all want to hear that. It is time though. I got to get back to work, so we should.
Okay,
I'm gonna grunt myself out of here.
all right, you grunt out of there while I go ahead and introduce everybody. So the three of us were here, as well as Josh Carey and David Bates. There he goes. And here you go, getting into the episode.
Bye, y'all. Love y'all.
Y'all enjoy.
Austin and Caroline, how was your 4th and the week days prior? What's your personal gardening outlook?
Well, watering. I spent a good 2 hours watering
That's
all my
man,
plants yesterday.
All I did yesterday was water because while everyone had the day off, the plants don't take days off.
No.
So I was here throughout the day, taking care of that, and we've had some anomalies in our irrigation, so it made it a little more challenging, but got through it, and it's good to have water available. You certainly realize the value of it when you're in a hot, dry situation.
Mm-hmm.
I had a hydrangea yesterday that was just so bad.
Oh,
I had
a
baby
second.
Penny water it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so
I
cute.
was like, Penny, get out there and water that. I got to say
Don't
too,
get-
I'm gonna be low energy today. I'm sorry. Caroline needed to get into her seat, so I tried to get out.
Uh-oh.
I kicked my coffee over. All the coffee
of it.
gone.
Yeah,
I don't have
that's
any
low
left.
energy.
What?
Huh?
a-
Yeah,
Tyler,
you went
what?
high energy right there.
Well, high energy now.
You're
going
using- you're
down
using
for the
it
rest
all
of the
right
show.
now.
From all the way down.
He will not
It's only
get-
an hour.
He will not get properly charged until after the broadcast.
Oh.
So if he seems a little lower octane today than normal, that's the reason.
I'm just playing. I'm going to be way up. It's fine. I'm just mad at myself. Actually,
be
I'm
mad.
mad at Caroline.
I was waiting for that. I knew it
She
was
usually
coming.
comes in this back door to
The
come in here.
irrigation was on,
It
and I
was
couldn't
on.
go through that door.
She was getting wet from the irrigation, so she had to come in a different door.
I think it's
Kicked
that,
over my coffee.
Caroline, I think it's that same kind of mentalities when something bad happens.
You
and
blame somebody else.
You want to kick the dog or whatever, which is not a good thing. But you're trying to that displaced aggression.
Okay.
And so anyway, you're doing a good job of restraining it to this point. Anyway,
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
You
You're
can go
fine.
yell at irrigation later.
Okay, I will.
How about that?
I will.
Go get mad.
Yell at the sprinklers.
I did yell at them actually because they got me wet on the way in as well.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it was a bit of the. It was like
splashed
the
me with
wave
cold
pool
water.
out there.
all I have to do
How
is
dare they?
is time it till it just passes you, and then you can
Yeah.
just walk
You
right
can
in.
watch that one go
I
in
know,
full
David. I
circle.
missed it. I missed the timing. There's like 3 or 4 sprinklers going off, and I timed the one and mistimed the other.
Austin doesn't play video games.
He was
No, I don't.
he was preoccupied about drinking coffee that he needed desperately. So.
And then
kicked it over.
it's all over the floor. But it smells great in here because it smells like your coffee. So at least you have that next to you coming up off the floor.
Thanks, Caroline. I'll just smell it
welcome.
and not be able to taste it. That's great.
All right, but you watered. You had little baby Penny water a hydrangea yesterday.
Yes, I did. I
Was
did
it
a
the
lot
one
of
in a
work
pot?
yesterday. Huh?
Was it the one in a pot?
Yes, because I haven't planted it yet. Surprise,
Yeah.
surprise.
Well, I haven't planted a bunch of stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Me too.
I'm annoyed at myself because I haven't planted it because now I have to water it pretty much every
I
day.
have so much on my driveway that I have to water.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Just plant the stuff. Why don't we just plant the stuff?
It's hard.
What's wrong with us?
It's hard.
I know.
It's hot outside. I mean,
It is
That's a
hot.
good point.
And when you get home, if you could make yourself get up and do it in the morning,
Yeah.
then you might do it. But apparently that hasn't happened either.
no.
So and when you get home in the afternoon, you've been out in the heat. If you work outside like we do, the heat takes its toll on you, and all you want to do is get inside.
Walking to the mailbox, the heat takes the toll on you.
Yeah.
Gosh, so
It's not fun.
You just do what you can to get through the day,
Mhm.
and which we've been able to do very well. It has not been as bad, but it has not been non-existent. The forecast indicates it's going to be a bit improved. So hopefully that gives an opportunity to save just enough energy to dig a hole a day, just one a day.
That's not a bad goal to set.
That's a great goal to set, actually.
One hole a day.
One
and then
hole a
in
day.
2 months, I'll have all my house plants. My house plants planted.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I guess I'm on the coffee train with you. Hey, we got a question about put it in the ground or keep it in a pot. So let's go ahead and dive into
I
questions.
think that's appropriate.
Can I still plant a peach tree or should I leave it in a pot until fall?
Well, if you're like us, you'll leave it in a pot until fall. But if
Or
you're
until
better
2
than
years
us,
later.
yeah. If you're better than us, you'll go ahead and put it in the ground, like David said, one hole a day. Okay. Hey, but you know what? What about one hole a week? Just that is better than nothing. Your peach tree is going to be mad at you if you leave it in the pot and you miss a water. You know, you miss a day of water. It's going to be flagging. It's going to be wilting. And you're going to have to water it in a pot. So go ahead and plant it in the ground.
If you got
and
it, dig a hole.
soak it.
If you can just make yourself get out there and just mark out where the hole is going to go and just excavate the very top, maybe 3 inches, and then get the garden hose out there and fill it full of water.
Do a perk test. Absolutely.
And then let it soak in there. And the next morning, the digging will be a whole lot easier. So
That's a great tip.
If you think just a little bit ahead on that, you can save yourself some anguish.
Yes.
Not all anguish in life, but with respect to this one hole, yes.
Mm-hmm.
You can go out there and
Because
get
that's
it.
going to be a pretty good sized hole for a peach tree.
Depends on the size of the peach tree.
I bet it's
Yeah.
a good sized peach tree. Come
Yeah,
on.
maybe.
It's
How
giant.
big is a good sized peach tree, Josh?
I don't have any peach trees, so I don't
You
really
don't know then.
Huh.
One thing about peach trees, they grow like a weed. Let's be honest. Like
Tyler had one and then he had to remove it.
because it got too big
Yeah.
too fast. Tell him, Tyler.
Yeah, it got
It exploded.
yeah, it got 12 to 15 feet tall in a couple years.
Seriously.
So
How
you know,
wide was it at that time?
I mean, about 15
same.
feet wide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
tall
the thing.
and wide.
They really are a sprawling intermediate tree,
Yeah.
but they do grow fast. And it's the way peaches and cherries tend to run. They don't live a long time, so it's not unusual to have to remove one at that age anyway for other reasons. So
I think mine was about 5 years whenever I did remove it. It was, space is definitely a huge consideration when you're planting a peach tree because I know you're excited about planting any kind of tree. And then also, you got to understand what semi-dwarf actually means in tree language,
It's a
which
lie.
is not,
Yeah.
like these patio peach varieties that are coming out now are much more friendly to a smaller space garden. With respect to some of them are good for fruiting, and then some of them are more for just ornamental.
Right.
So definitely do your research there.
Yeah, and those are often referred to as genetic dwarfs, or where they have a true dwarfing stock on them, where they'll stay within bounds pretty well. But
Right.
semi-dwarf, or it was really
Yes.
a technique that was developed to benefit the growers, so that the trees just don't get as big as the full-size peaches, and they're a little easier to keep in bounds, but they're not significantly smaller. Whereas the non-semi-dwarf, the full-size versions, probably get 5 to 8 feet taller and wider, and the semi-dwarfs, that dwarfing understock, it only slightly dwarfs them. It doesn't. It just brings it down a bit. So it's and it's one of the most important things, whether you're planting peach trees or whatever, is to believe the size ultimate that you see on the tag. And this will be small. It won't be a problem.
It'll be a halfling.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, you're like Tyler, having to go. I got to get rid of this thing because I have no room.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, being aggressive with your pruning early helps. You want to let it get established, let it get some branches up, and then that winter start selecting the ones that you want. And with peach trees, it's different. You got to remove the center leader at a certain height and start splaying it out if you really want it for fruit production.
Right.
So-
And being willing to thin the fruit, because the fruit
Yep.
can produce so profusely that the trees frequently break down when you have a year where that you have a heavy fruit set. So, use the thumb and pinky as a guide to space the fruit. You got it right there with you, and just prune it take everything off. It's very hard to do because you're thinking, there's 3 other peaches
So
I
it's a
just got
shock
rid
and
of.
not a.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could. That's even better than nothing.
No, it's
you know.
like this.
But frequently people leave them just touching, and then you're inviting all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's stay on the fruit topic.
Okay.
My strawberry plant is taking over my garden. Tips
Nice.
on controlling the beast.
Ah,
Don't.
good old strawberries. What a
Josh said,
great
don't do
fruiting perennial evergreen plant. Like, isn't that weird? Like
Yeah.
a plant that stays evergreen is perennial and fruits for you. But what does it do? It sends out runners. Okay, that's what we call them. You have the mother plant in the middle, and then you've got a little what do you call it? A little stem, an elongated stem that comes out, and then you get another plant that comes
little
from
pup.
that, a little pup, and then it roots from that spot. So I understand your problem here, and this is the strawberries are somewhat aggressive. If they're happy, first off, good for you.
Yes.
Like you've got a plant that is taking off and doing well. So you're doing something good. What we have to do is we have to harvest those pups. We have to harvest those runners that are coming out, and we need to put them somewhere else or throw them in the woods. I mean, if they're getting too big, I mean, sometimes you,
You
just
love
can't.
to throw things into the woods.
It is my favorite
Throw
thing.
them in the woods.
I mean, if you're
What if you don't have woods?
throw them in the trash, Caroline? Throw them in the toilet. I don't know. Like, but
Compost heap.
compost them. There you go, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes your plants are too good, and this happens sometimes. It's like my mother. My mother's got aloe plants that are too good.
Yes.
They're too many pups, too many things. So I'm just like, Mom, what? What's so funny? Like, you have to get rid of
Throw
stuff.
them in the
sometimes.
woods. Throw them in the trash. Throw them in the toilet.
That's the answer to that's the answer to everything in country life.
That's right.
Throw it in
Throw it in the woods.
Please do not
Oh,
flush your strawberries
Do
down the
not.
toilet.
I say
Bless
that
your
once a
strawberries.
day to my kids. Throw it in the woods.
Throw it in the woods.
Yeah.
We-
But anyway, yeah, I mean, or you harvest them and then you plant them somewhere else.
And you
okay?
give them to friends. Put them in little
There you
pots.
go. That's much nicer.
Don't
You're right,
throw them in
Caroline.
your toilet.
Yeah.
Give them to friends.
Give them to your friends.
Yeah.
But get it back to its mother plant. Like, get it back in check. We have to
And
do
you-
this with cutting. Y'all.
And
I
you
mean,
probably have some small little containers left over from annual plantings or whatever. Just pot them up,
Yep.
and it gives you something else to water every day.
Yes.
yeah.
but then there's
Nico.
suitable gifts quickly because they're gonna root in there fast. And
Uh-huh.
then you've got time to either decide where you're going to plant them next or whom you can convince that they need to have some.
Yeah.
That's right. Put
One
it
of
in their
the,
yard.
One of the original plants that we planted when we purchased the home that we're in now, about 19 years ago, was one ever-bearing strawberry, because back in the day it was edible landscaping. Remember that whole trend? We had them in the,
That
we
hadn't
have,
gone
came
away.
back.
I have,
too.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
here.
We have not
one
abandoned
left.
it.
Huh?
we have not abandoned that.
No. But wait, every year the squirrels still love it. I mean,
Yeah, because it continues to produce fruit, and
Yes.
they can continue
the
to
birds.
pick.
I mean,
The only bad thing about everbearing is that they never produce profusely, which almost
guarantees
guarantees
the squirrel's going
they're
to
going to get every one of them. And if you have a regular type of strawberry that just produces normally, seasonally,
Mm-hmm.
they come on enough where they don't really get all of them. They're
It's a
not.
pretty plant too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
It is very nice. I have one in a pot with some thyme, and it's really pretty. Hey, Donna on Facebook says, "Good morning,
Hey, Donna.
Bates friends. Someone get Austin some coffee."
Yeah, Donna.
We got nobody to
Uber
send
What
Eats,
that.
about
Donna.
Where
throwing
you at?
plants in toilets? I mean, come on, he needs his coffee.
I do. You're right, Donna. Great to hear from you, Donna. Glad
He'll
you're
get his
listening.
coffee very soon. We'll get him a nice strong cup of very sweet coffee with a lot of sugar in it.
How many sugars do you put in your coffee, Austin? I'm just curious.
Well, I usually just do a big old deal of cream, like creamer, and then I pour the coffee on top of that. I don't really use sugar too much unless I'm out of creamer, and then I'm a
Does your
straight
creamer have sugar
and
in
then
it?
I'm a 2 scoop sugar
scoops
kinda
of
guy.
sugar.
2 scoop sugar. We got some milk in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
getting it.
big old cup.
Nice.
If I don't knock it over,
Well,
well,
I've only seen you knock your coffee over one time, and that
Today.
was this morning.
great.
Yeah, it happens.
Thanks, Donna.
It's never a bad time of year to add Earth Mix to your garden. Earth Mix garden products are sustainably sourced, living soils and amendments crafted to give you the best success for your gardening efforts. Establishing a raised bed? Use Garden Premium Topsoil Blend for an excellent performing growing medium for flowers and vegetables. Amend your gardens with their supernatural compost with all the nutrients needed to recharge existing soils. For houseplants, their Proganics Indoor Grow Mix is a fantastic potting medium that will feed for up to 6 months without the need for additional fertilizer. Earth Mix is sold only at independent garden centers, so head over to earthmix.net/find Earthmix to locate one near you. Success begins at the ground level when you use Earthmix garden products. What's in bloom? With Austin.
All right, let's scroll this. Let's do it. Okay, hey, let's start with veggies. Why not? Let's start with veggies, specifically corn. Hey, y'all know I love corn. That corn be tasseling, people.
Yeah,
it is tasseling around town. Corn has been, what a great year for corn.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's so wet in the spring and then so hot. Lately, corn is just eating it up, y'all. I love my corn. It is coming up and tasseling, looking great. Okay, look, allium's going off. They're just buzzing with bees, and they're great. Echinacea is beautiful this year. What's up with echinacea? It's been great. I mean, like literally
fantastic.
Great this year. Black-eyed Susan's still going, Caroline. I know you love them. Canna lily's still going off. Gladiola's still going off. If they don't get eaten by deer, Josh.
Yes.
Gross. I'm so mad at them. Hey, clethra. What do you know about summer sweet? Clethra, I mean, a lot of pollinators like that plant too. It can live kind of shade, sun, wet, dry. It's a native. Like, we brought some clethra in the room today. Caroline will tell you all about it here soon. All right, shout out Bridge. Your grasses are starting to bloom. My Northwind switchgrass just starting to poke. They look great. Maiden grass is really going off, looking nice right now. So that's fantastic. All your hydrangeas. You know what's interesting about hydrangeas right now? They're all starting to turn their color. Even the panicles. Okay? They all come out white, you know, usually. They're pure white for a little while, and then they start to fade to that pinkish, that reddish, and they're starting to transition.
It's it's the greatest show of summer.
It's so good. It is so good. And then we have a lot of trees still going. Y'all, we still have Vitex. We talked about it last week as the GOAT. All right, it's blooming blue, and it's still just got hummingbirds and bees and stuff all over it. Just constantly. Golden rain tree still spraying. You know, we kind of went with a firework theme in here today a little bit. And golden rain trees are throwing fireworks, okay? Yellow fireworks up into the air, okay?
Buckless.
Yep, don't touch them. They'll hurt you. Smoke tree still smoking. What a great day for that. You know, day after 4th of July, Magnolia is still going off. Magnolia's been blooming for over a month, like over a month. What, you know, why don't you have magnolia? Because they throw a lot of leaves and they're, you know, whatever. That's why I don't have one. But magnolias are still blooming for you, okay? They smell fantastic. Crepe myrtle's still going, and they're gonna be going. So get ready for me to talk about that. Mimosa's still going, Caroline.
It is.
It's just tropical.
They look so
They're fantastic.
good
You love
right
it so
now.
much. They're still throwing blooms. And then let's talk about the summertime goat. All right, let's do it.
Bring it.
You know, red, white, and blue. You can get all of those colors in this plant. You know what it is, Josh?
No, I don't.
It's Rose of Sharon.
Rose of Sharon.
It's Rose of Sharon. I don't know who Sharon is, but she was rosy, and she's got red, she's got blue, she's got white. You know, the white ones are really blooming right now. It's a summertime lover. It's not wilting on you. It's still blooming every single day. It's dropping those blooms every single night.
Yep.
It's kind of a dirty plant, not going to lie to you, but we like a little dirty sometimes whenever it shows that. I mean, if they're going to do that, we're okay with the dirty.
We're okay with dirty.
If they're going to do that, we're okay with the dirty. Okay, like I said, we got all sorts of colors in Rose of Sharon, and they are fantastic, y'all. That is what's in bloom. Happy 4th of July, Independence Day, red, white, and blue. Let's go.
Yeah,
All
shut that
right.
book.
Nailed it.
Way to
Amazing.
go.
Even without coffee.
I mean, that's what you call show prep right there.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. My Rose of Sharon looks great right now.
What color is yours?
It is like a kind of dark pink. It's the variegated leaf.
Oh, that's right. You got the variegated leaf
Yep.
one.
I won a bet against you, and you had to buy it for me.
Great. I forgot about that. Thanks for bringing that up.
You're welcome, but I love it.
All right. Well,
The
good.
leaves look great.
Good.
It loses its variegation like later in the season, but right now
okay.
it looks fantastic.
That's not uncommon in variegated plants.
Not really.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the spring, when those leaves come out, it looks really, really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love Rose of Sharon.
Let's get back to some questions. Let's talk hydrangeas. I can't get rid of rust on hydrangea with fungicide spray. What else can help?
Rust on hydrangea. That's different, I guess. I mean, rust is a very common fungal pathogen. It's just somewhat rare to see it on hydrangea. Maybe it's oak leaf. I think oak leaf is a little bit more, can can get rust a little bit more. So it doesn't matter what it's on. Okay, so if rust gets on a plant, your fungicides are not going to take it off of those leaves. Okay, so like it will help stop it spreading to new leaves. We all know this, but the ones that it's on, it's going to be on. So let's prune those off. I mean, it honestly is the best.
Put them in a bag and
Yeah.
throw them in the woods.
Exactly. There you go, Josh. Now you learn. Josh got some woods.
There you go. I got a neighbor's ditch. So
Throw them in the neighbor's ditch.
Yeah, you're right. There's really nothing you can do to get rid of that other than just remove it. You could do the individual leaves. It might be a great opportunity just to do a general pruning all the way around. It's not too late to do that. You're going to sacrifice perhaps some current flowers on there, but if you want to get rid of the rust, it's going to be continuing to propagate, particularly if we keep getting rains along. It's another one of those pathogens that can.
Or if you water from the top.
Yeah, well, that's a good point, Josh. Let's just tell everybody, don't water leaves if you can help it. Like plants do not need water on their leaves, unless you're an orchid. An epiphytic plant.
You are an orchid.
Yeah, I mean, if you get water from the air, I mean, water on the leaves to help water the plant. Other than that, don't water your leaves, y'all. Just water the root zone, okay?
Yeah, that's an issue in houseplants as well. People
Big
misting
time.
the leaves of all houseplants, including succulents, and then it causes issues.
I think people will incorrectly assume, well, when it rains, the foliage gets wet.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you're irrigating, like on our lot out here, the foliage gets wet.
You mean Splash and Safari out here?
But there is one area that's an exception to that is our laurels, which have this thing called shot hole fungus they're susceptible to. So you'll notice they're under cover where they don't get overhead water in their own drip system.
It's cool, too. You got to come out there and see how to do it.
And it greatly reduces, it almost eliminates shot hole fungus. Only because we're able to control the overhead water that's falling on it. And particularly when you do it daily like we do, you have to come up with a way to be able to control that. You can't spray it enough to keep it off. It can't be done. But you can control the conditions so that it keeps it at bay or, perhaps prevents it altogether or at least greatly minimizes it.
There you go.
All right, how do you get rid of black spot and yellow leaf fungus on hydrangeas? Will it kill the plant?
No, generally it's not going to kill the plant, but it's the exact same thing we just talked about with rust. It doesn't really matter what fungal pathogen it is. The copper fungicides and any of the fungicides you try to spray, it's going to help the leaves that are not affected yet. But any of the leaves that are affected with the yellow and the black spots, let's just remove them. And like Josh said, be careful about it. Don't be shaking the leaves all over the place.
Don't rub them up against other leaves.
Yes, exactly. Just take the worst of leaves. You'll be amazed that if you just clean up the worst of those leaves, how much better your plant will look almost immediately. And it takes 5 minutes to just remove the individual leaves that are the worst.
And if you don't like the way it looks after you've done that, then you can cut them back.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I always get spots on my oak leaf hydrangeas.
Should we rotate the fungicides?
It never hurts to do that.
A lot of folks.
That's with insecticides as well. Anytime you can, crop rotation, anytime you can rotate what you're doing, it's very helpful.
They tend to build resistance against a singular approach.
Exactly.
Oh. All right, drooping hosta leaves. It has yellow and brown, and it's dying back at the ground. Could it be fungal or water issues?
Vol.
Yeah, I was about to say, if it's dying back at the ground, it sounds like it could be a little critter.
Yeah, it sounds like something different than water. If it's over watered, then certainly you can see that as well. But
voles, perhaps?
Voles, moles. Slugs and snails, they typically are just going to be on the leaves. But
Yeah.
I don't know
Voles
why
like-
it'd be dying, the whole thing dying.
They like them as much as deer like gladiolas.
Yeah. Thanks, Josh.
You're welcome.
Had to bring it back.
Yeah.
This time of year, I will say,
Find
hostas
the
just start
scab.
to look
You just
kind of
keep
sad.
picking at it.
They can. If they're in too much sun, they'll definitely show you. They're getting a little hot. Getting a little hot
spotty.
right now.
Yeah. My hostas look, they're getting a little spotty. Mine are in pretty much full shade. They still look good, but I do have to remove some leaves because they're getting a few issues here and there, but they're alive. It's going to happen.
Yeah, hostas are so close to the ground. Like with plants that are so close to the ground like that, you're going to see some leaves that are going to get spotty. They're going to get fungusy. Look, y'all, we're in Middle Tennessee. We love it.
Yeah.
But we also got to deal with it. Okay.
And if they're in a spot that stays a little too wet for too long,
Sluggy, snaily.
You'll see stuff.
yeah, you can have rot and die back as a result of that. So, just be mindful of that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to divide mine this year. I know I put up that poll last year to see if I should divide my hostas,
You didn't?
my striptease.
Yep.
I didn't, and now they are overgrown. Like, they're growing on top of each other, and the shorter ones are just like, help me.
I'll
They're
trade
trying
you
to
some
come up.
peony for
Kid,
some
no,
hostas.
Done.
What do they
Okay.
sound like again?
Help me.
Okay.
They're so tiny
Make
and
sure I
little, and you
got
can't
that.
see them back there.
That sounds just like a hosta.
It does. Yeah. It's crazy. Well, I talk to him every day, so I would know. All right. We're still on the pest and fungal and everything, dealing with the scale infestation. Will insecticidal soap work?
Negative. I say negative. I mean,
It works in a way, but not really. I don't really use it for scale.
insecticidal soap only works if you target the insect and you actually get it on the insect's body. And it depends on what scale we're talking about here. Hard scale, like a hard body. There's soft scale and there's hard
They
scale.
laugh at you.
Yeah, they'll laugh at that
They
soap.
will, yeah.
They'll just clean themselves. Like they're like happy with you.
Oh, it's
You
soapy.
gave him a little bath.
Oh,
yeah.
it's soapy.
Nice.
It's so nice.
I'm clean now. Yeah, you're gonna need something stouter than that. And I don't know what it's on. I mean, a lot of times scale in your world, especially, is on houseplants. Like, especially you see that. We see it in our world in crepe myrtles a lot. There's a lot of different bark scales and different leaf scale. There's like 1,000 different scale insects out there.
Yeah.
But insecticidal soap is not a very effective control method for them. All
And
right?
with houseplants, if it's not too bad, I'll take a toothbrush and put it in like some diluted rubbing alcohol and just get them off of there. And
Like
then just
physically,
keep treating
yes.
them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
A physical removal.
In the case of bark scale, another physical removal, your pressure washer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't get too close with it, just enough to take them off. But that's one way to do it. If it's a particular leaf that's heavily infested, again,
Cut it.
remove it.
Yes.
Just take it off, and then maybe there's some that don't have so much on them that's worth taking the time to clean them off on. It's they're a pest.
They are.
They are a pest.
They're annoying.
Scaly rascals.
Yeah.
You
They're
know,
kind of cool looking, though. I found some big ones.
they look prehistoric.
Not
They
if
do.
you if you smash them.
Yeah.
Ugh.
They get-
Oh, they're so gross if you smash them. Some of them are like
There's-
red inside.
They're
Cool.
That's
Yeah.
annoying.
they're squishy looking.
Ugh. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. All right, how to get rid of Japanese beetles. I hate them.
Yeah. Good luck.
Well,
Just
yeah.
move.
Yeah, those
Just move.
foreign copy bands.
Throw them in
are
the
never-
woods.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not what you're talking about. It's
No, don't throw those in the woods.
Y'all, everybody hates Japanese beetles. Let's be honest, okay? Japanese beetles specifically are extremely hard to kill. Like, I mean, not physically. You can get your
Squish them.
you squish them if you want. They're kind of
Snake's too
big
long.
to squish. I don't know,
Yeah.
Josh. That's
They
kinda
move
crazy.
around a lot.
They fly around. They're on everything. Like they're not all that picky. They love
They'll eat
certain
anything.
things, but they'll kind of eat anything. And it's Japanese beetle season. It is. It's time.
You know, this year they're usually on my knockout roses and my cannas, and
Yes.
this year they're on my echinacea. They haven't touched my cannas, which is not super close, but still in the same yard, or my knockouts. I was surprised when I saw them on my echinacea
They
because
ought
they're
to come
never
up
on that.
with a different kind of, or a different, more aesthetically pleasing trap, because the pheromone baits work if you can keep them.
But you have to get your neighbor to accept it as a
Yeah.
gift and put it out.
Put it on the mailbox. I mean,
far
hang it on a
away-
light pole
yeah.
somewhere out there. But they absolutely work. You just got to keep them emptied.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, they work too good almost.
And they bring them in too,
Maybe
Yeah.
they can make like a
like a 55-gallon drum.
5-gallon size where you can collect a bunch. You know, maybe there's a way somebody can come up with to put the trap inside of a larger thing
Trap?
to be able, so that you can catch more of them. So,
Yeah.
'cause you can empty it pretty much every day.
Yeah, those little yellow bags. I mean, every day.
They want to sell them.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. There's nothing fun about Japanese beetles. I mean, let's be honest. An exotic
kinda pretty.
invasive insect
Yeah.
species. Like, it's something we have to live with. I mean,
So since when do we start this honesty policy?
Really?
Let's be honest.
let's be honest.
Let's be honest here.
Well, we've got the Beatles. If they ever get the Japanese kinks, David,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all over.
It is.
Okay.
It's all over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some say there ain't no cure for the summertime blues. But we say Bates Nursery is. Located in Nashville, Tennessee, Bates Nursery and Garden Center is a separate world unto itself. They feature the widest variety of plants, including trees, shrubs, native plants, perennials, houseplants, and specimen evergreens. Their knowledgeable staff will assist you with any gardening needs, catering to any experience level. Open year-round, and Caroline, tell them how to get here.
Bates Nursery is located minutes from downtown Nashville off Briley Parkway, exit 19 in beautiful Whites Creek, Tennessee. You'll see it's worth the drive from anywhere. No time to visit the nursery? Shop online with delivery and pickup options available for the greater Middle Tennessee area at www.batesnursery.com.
So if you want to learn a lot about living and a little about love, visit Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932.
Before we get to some photos, let's do one more question. I'm seeing a lot of large trees that look like they're dying. The tips of the branches are brown. Any thoughts?
I know exactly what this is.
I think
this
I do
is a
too.
massive thing that's happening, especially in our county, Cheatham County. Okay, we had massive cicada numbers this year, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
And they got on the tips of the trees. And there are so many. Driving down Old Clarksville Pike, driving home every day, there are, you drive
There's
the same road.
tons
of large trees. I'm talking maples, I'm talking oaks, talking birch, doesn't matter. Big trees where the tips are totally brown and died back, okay? This is cicada injury. Isn't that interesting?
That's
It is
nature's
very
own
interesting.
pruning.
It's great point, David. I was going to say that too. And it's like tip pruning a little bit on large trees makes them bush and fill out and get a little bit tighter. So this is, like David just said, this is the natural pruning of large trees that will make them, it does not kill them whatsoever. It looks like they're like, have some sort of pathogen. Like
It
they
does.
look like
It's
they're
crazy.
dying.
Yeah,
They're
driving
not.
down I-24 towards Clarksville,
Yes.
yeah, you can really see it.
I know. And it's like crazy.
Most of those little branches will flag
Flag
off. They'll break right there where the eggs got laid in there when because it swells the bark and makes it weak, and then
then
they'll
they're
just
called-
break off, and then the new growth the next year covers it all up. And
Yeah.
it'll be thicker than it was before. So
I know. It's crazy. But it is a really funny, I mean, not funny, it's a strange phenomenon to look at. I mean,
Yeah.
because you really do think something bad is happening.
It looks
Nope.
weird because it's like these healthy trees and then it's just like brown. It almost looks like blooms or something.
Yeah, a little bit. Brown dead blooms.
Brown dead blooms. Yeah, that's right.
All right. There you have it. Cicadas, man.
Yeah,
They
they'll
were out
do
this
it.
year.
There was
Heavy
south
numbers.
of the town last year.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't see hardly any numbers where we live last year. And then this
No.
year, it was just like pockets of big numbers.
Yeah.
The brood got out of cycle slightly for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little guys. They were just a little behind. It's okay. All right. And then Joyce sent some photos of her crocosmia with
Joyce.
a question. Hey, Joyce. We haven't heard from you this morning. Where are you? Joyce says, have any of you grown crocosmia? I ordered some online, wanted 20, but accidentally ordered 30. I planted about
Accidentally.
15 here, but not much has happened. I guess maybe it's good for that I over ordered. Are they slow to get started? I grow this, and honestly, when I put it in the ground, it took off immediately. Like, it was crazy. I have some in the part sun and some in full sun, and I mean they started growing immediately, got thick, and
Do they
mine are starting to
flower?
bloom. Oh yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
A
little bulb
it's
plant?
usually a little bulb plant. It blooms like orange or red going into the summer. Like I said, mine's just now starting to bloom.
Oh, okay.
But they grow pretty easily. I wonder if something could be eating yours.
Either that, sometimes when you order things online, they're not they're underwhelming. And that is to say, it could be a very juvenile start of it, and maybe it's just going to take them an extra year to really get established well enough to really produce very much. So it could be that.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is that it's up and that it's green.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's at least starting the process to kind of bulb out and then next year hopefully get a lot better. for you.
Hope springs eternal.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. I love that plant. If you haven't grown it, look up a picture. It's really great. And I don't really have issues with it. I'm a big fan. All right. What are your thoughts on using bamboo as a privacy screen?
No.
Negative. Do not do this.
Negative.
Negative. No.
Unless you're willing to create a concrete planter in the ground. And when I say a concrete planter in the ground, that would involve using a trencher that will trench down 4 feet and pouring concrete continuously all the way
Great big
around.
container.
Because you've got to be able to get deep enough to keep the rhizomes from jumping underneath. And then once they would start growing, you've got to keep them from jumping over the top. So you need to keep it up about 6 inches. And if you wanted to go to all that trouble, you could.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to contain, highly invasive.
Don't do it.
No.
You'll plant it and
Your
never
river
get
cane,
rid of it.
River cane would probably work.
Well, that's
It's
same thing.
similar,
I mean, it's perhaps less invasive. It
Yes.
won't jump up
Plant
40,
you
40 feet away. You know,
sandbar willow. There you go.
hey, Tyler,
Sandbar willow. Native.
that's a native.
That is a native.
Tall.
They get huge
Grows
and they grow
fast.
real
Big.
fast. Yeah, I've got some. When I bought my property, my neighbor was like, you know what you got down there? And I was like, what? And he was like, that's a willow. And it was probably 3 foot tall. And now it's so tall.
and it's.
I'm not even going to try to guess.
Way
How
too
many-
hot for pandas to survive here, so you can't even go
How
that
many
route.
what?
How many bird
And-
baths tall?
I would say 100.
100 bird baths.
Wow.
Oh my gosh! So it's 100 feet tall.
It's 100 feet tall.
I think the
tallest
panda
tree
reference
ever.
got lost.
Well, that's okay. They went with the bird bath. It was
We
funnier.
went with the bird bath. We
It was
did.
funnier.
But now let's go with roses. What is the best fertilizer for roses, and when do I fertilize?
Early and often with roses, like we talked about. I think we talked about this last week. I mean, they're very heavy feeders. They just are, and the more you give them, the more happy they're going to be with you. Okay. And there's a number of fertilizers you can use. I mean, if you want to be organic, they literally make a product called Rose Tone. It's specifically for roses.
Smells good too.
No, it doesn't, Josh. It smells awful. But usually, the
That's
worse
because
it
it's
smells,
organic.
the worse it smells, the better it is usually.
Yes.
So you can certainly use that. But yeah, early and often when it's actively growing in the spring. Okay, we're starting to get into the dead of summer where things aren't just like crazy growing right now. So we could probably
Right.
take a break. We're a little tired. It's a little hot out there. Okay, we can maybe stop the fertilizer, but early in the spring, 2 or 3 times in the early spring is probably the way to go.
My plants are so tired right now, and I'm tired of watering them.
It's only July, Caroline. Tell them to snap out of it, man.
I can't.
Yep.
They're going to be tired, and that's okay.
Mm.
All right, need some shade plants deer will not eat.
Hellebore.
Yeah,
That's
hellebore.
it.
True.
Literally hellebore.
That's
That
the
will
one.
not
That's the
eat.
only one, right?
I was about to say, I mean,
I can't think of anything else. I mean,
they eat hosta for breakfast,
they eat
It's
lunch,
got-
and dinner.
And it has to be something that has a very aromatic or very pungent taste to it. And I've never tasted hellebores, but they are certainly in that class. They just don't mess with them.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't seem to. I got Sun King Aurelia. That's one of my favorite shade plants on the planet.
great.
It grows so fast and so vigorously that even if deer did graze on them a little, it ain't gonna hurt them.
Yep,
Try out some Sun King Aurelia, y'all. It brightens up a shade spot.
it really
Wonderfully.
does.
Man, Tyler's already playing the music.
Well, it's time.
It's time.
It is.
That was
We
fast.
got through another one.
Yeah, we did.
Went fast as always. Thanks everyone for tuning in
Yep.
and for sending in questions and photos. We encourage you to do so, and we'll return next week.
Yeah, like, share on the socials, tell everybody about us because we're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
We want to. I want the word to spread.
That's the intention. Yes.
Yes, it is. I'll tell you off air what the. Never mind. We'll talk about it later. But hey, next Saturday morning, we'll be here from the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery and Garden Center for Gardening Inside Out. See you then.
I need coffee.
Thank you for tuning into the Gardening Inside Out podcast. If you're looking for more information or more from your hosts, don't forget that we have a live Saturday morning broadcast, 8 a.m. Central Time on YouTube and Facebook. You can also follow us on our Instagram channel. That's @Gardening Inside Out for more posts, reels, and in-depth dives to topics and things we've discussed on the show. If our content resonates with you, consider giving us a follow, like, and subscription on all of our social media pages. See you next time.